live from the Treasure Island and City National Arena. This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Lo vuelve a mandar a la parte trasera de la portería. El Capi se lo tiene por el costado izquierdo. Frente a la red, uno más. ¡Gol! ¡Gol! Jack Eichel.
With Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
Peleando por un poco, parte trasera de la portería. Lo pone frente a la red. ¡El disparo, señores! ¡Gol! Ahí está el gol del equipo de los Vegas Golden Knights para no vernos tan mal. Así es esto, señores.
Hacerlo un poquito más decoroso. El gol de los Caballeros Dorados.
A boca de jarro le cayó ahí a Nick Dowd, Alejandro Romo.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
He's at Studio 31, and Jared Justice is back inside the Richard Harris Law Firm studios. Happy Monday, happy game day. How we doing, boys?
Even if you don't understand Spanish, that's awesome. That's a great opening.
Yeah. Did you like the amount of time that Jared let the open breathe before it got to and at City National Arena?
Yeah.
Was that an appropriate amount of time for you?
So
there's no more confusion then, right? Okay.
For a fourth time, appropriate.
Good.
Looking forward to this show. Findlay Cadillac and the Valley Auto Mall bringing us our Stanley Cup playoff chatter. FindlayCadillac.com is the place to check them out. We've got a lot to get to over the next 90 minutes, again, because it's an abbreviated show, losing a half hour due to the start time in Utah and Salt Lake City. We will get into what's going to happen in game number 4, some of the tweaks and adjustments by the two clubs going into this pivotal swing game in the Stanley Cup playoff series between the Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights. You'll hear from head coach John Tortorella in just a little bit. And one-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League. We'll dive into a couple of series that have concluded as we're down to 14 teams remaining in contention for the Stanley Cup in 2026.
Yep, it was a really intriguing weekend of hockey. Some things happened that I think a lot of people expected to happen. We'll get into it in one-timers. Obviously, a pretty sad day if you are a Kings fan, because it's a game you hoped wouldn't come. You hoped that LA would be able to extend their series, and they just didn't do it.
Yeah, it was never really close.
No, it wasn't, but it also means the end of Anze Kopitar's career.
It was close on the scoreboard, but it wasn't really close in the series. And
it was not meant to be a close series.
It was both number one seeds, by the way, advancing in the minimum. Carolina Hurricanes also moving on. Tonight's series that we're focused on, the Golden Knights up against the Utah Mammoth. We saw a practice yesterday in Salt Lake City. The Golden Knights are working on a couple of different angles. One, line combinations with the forwards, and number 2, the power play units have been adjusted. The 5-forward set will be replaced by a couple of more balanced units, and that's probably the biggest news going into Game 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at what they were looking at yesterday in terms of practice. Stone, Eichel, Barbashev, Dorofeev, Theodore as the top unit, or the first unit, so to speak. Second unit of Howden, Hurdle, Marner, Hannafin, and Anderson. So it's definitely a different approach for the Golden Knights from what we have seen over the course of the regular season. The 5-forward power play has been very, very productive, but this balances things out a little bit more, and I would imagine that ice time on the power play would also be a bit more balanced as well.
We'll see whether that happens, because the number one unit generally does take a little bit more time, and it all depends, quite honestly, whether or not you have to reload and re-exit the zone. If you're in the zone for the first minute 15, you're probably going to try and take advantage of that. It means you've got all kinds of pressure. But it also, what I like about it is it gets your defense more involved. You've got 3 defensemen now between the 2 power play units. You don't have anything from a goal perspective in the series from defensemen, and I think this is a real opportunity for the likes of Shea Theodore, Rasmus Anderson, Noah Hannafin to kind of put their imprint on the series.
Yeah, I mean, I think that from that perspective, it could be a catalyst for the Golden Knights in terms of getting production from their blue line. The thing that gives me just a little bit of pause is the fact that Mitch Marner's not a part of your top power play unit or your first unit or the unit that we expect to start the power play.
Who do you take off?
I mean, at this point, right, like Dorofeev doesn't really fit because he's the shooter, right? Maybe I'd look to play him in the Barbashev spot, bumper, so to speak, but I just don't love the idea of Mitch Marner maybe getting 30 seconds, 40 seconds of power play time if that top unit is out there for a minute 15, a minute and 20 seconds. He's one of your best passers on the team. He creates so much offense, especially on the blue line on the power play. I just the only thing that
somebody has to come off.
I understand that. I'm saying I wish it wasn't Marner.
Okay, so who would it be?
Barbashev. I think I said it wouldn't be Dorofeev. That's the guy that's going to rip the puck. So put him in Barbashev's spot.
Yeah, he doesn't fit that spot. That type of play, the way they do it. He's a distributor, and up top are the sideboards would be his spot in Mitch Marner.
All right, fine. Then take Dorofeev off, slide Theodore to Dorofeev's spot, and keep Marner on the blue line.
And I love Dorofeev out there on the first power play unit with Shea Theodore. Left-hander shot sets you up for a one-timer, more so than Mitch Marner with the handedness of the players. And I think this is a real opportunity, one for Shea Theodore and those defensemen to get going, but also the way that you're set up with a left shot. You're able to feed it over and set up the one-timer for Pavel Dorofeev a lot easier, a lot more naturally, and I think that's a real intriguing thing to watch for tonight. So I like the way they balanced it off a little bit and put Mitch Marner. If you're going to balance it, you got to put a couple of your A-listers over on the second unit, or else it's not really balancing it out. So you do have a more equal look between the two units. And just because of Shea being back there and being that left-handed shot, I think it makes Pavel Dorofeev a whole lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I think we'll see how it kind of plays out in terms of the game and the power play opportunities for the Golden Knights. But I think if the objective, if the goal, right, is to try to get your D a little bit more involved in terms of the offense and to get a couple of one-time looks on the power play for Pavel Dorofeev, then it sets up beautifully for that.
It's nice just to be back talking game day hockey around the Vegas Golden Knights because it's been such a sluggish start with the schedule for the Vegas Golden Knights. You have two series that are done, Ryan. Done. Colorado and Carolina have already moved on, and the Golden Knights and Utah Mammoth have only played 3 games.
Yeah, I mean it's been odd. Like it's not typical to get 1 2-day break in a series, let alone 2 of them, unless you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. So it's felt very much prolonged. It has felt choppy just in terms of the Golden Knights. They're playing like they played 1 game in 5 days, and that is really difficult to get into a rhythm for both Vegas and Utah. So for the Golden Knights, I think it's just a matter of, at least now, moving forward, it's going to be every second day, and that's a rhythm the players can really get behind.
Pick up on that theme. Let's check in with John Tortorella, who spoke earlier today with our own Ashley Weiss.
You're on day 9 of the series, and you haven't played game 4 yet. When you woke up this morning, what was your level of eagerness and readiness to just get this thing going?
Can you imagine the players? Like we talked about before the series started, whatever the schedule is, we just go about it. So I'm sure the players are really looking forward to get going.
So do you feel that in the room, like they're raring to go?
Players want to play. Players don't want to listen to us. They don't want to practice. They want to play the games at this time of year. So we're ready to play.
Is there good and bads after 2 days off?
Nope. Doesn't matter. We're ready to play.
Totally fishing here, but you've been saying you need to get to know guys, right? When you have an extended road trip like this, are you able to spend time with individuals and get to know them a little bit better?
No, you get to know them by coaching games, practices and stuff like that. We leave them alone when we're not in the building. But I've gotten to know them. I know them well enough right now. Yeah, so most important thing is play the game.
You talk a lot about mindset and wanting the players to stay relaxed. How do you combine that with needing the urgency of time like this?
We're ready to play.
You get the message that John Tortorella and his team chomping on the bit. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's get back into a rhythm. They'll go every other day for the rest of the series. Game number 5 will be back at T-Mobile Arena, and Game 7, if necessary, will also be over at the Fortress. And John Tortorella has his game face on.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it, right? Like, he wants to go out and have the game, start. And he mentioned it about the players. Like, this is the time of year where you just want to be in the competition. You want to be in the battle, in the fight, every single game. And the time between, that's the hard part. That is the difficult aspect of this for the athletes. They just want to get into a rhythm. They want to play every other day, and they want the opportunity to compete and not sit around and wait for the next game. So if you can get the sense from John Tortorella how excited and how ready he is for this game, as he just said, think about the players. They are chomping at the bit to get back out there.
I want to pass along our congratulations to the Henderson Silver Knights, who swept San Jose on the weekend and advanced to the second round of the Calder Cup playoffs, the American Hockey League's postseason. The Henderson Silver Knights will be back at Lee's Family Forum on the weekend, Friday and Monday, 4 games 1 and 2 of their second round series against the Colorado Eagles. Because they don't play until Friday, there was the opportunity for the Vegas Golden Knights to expose a couple of players to Stanley Cup playoff environment, and Braden Bowman and Trevor Connolly, 2 important pieces of the HSK in their post All-Star break surge, and then subsequently home ice advantage in the first round, and that victory were recalled by the Vegas Golden Knights. They practiced yesterday, took the optional morning skate today, and an opportunity to be around the team. They are not expected to dress tonight. Connolly and Braden Bowman were able to skate in front of John Tortorella. Tortorella was able to put eyes on a couple of players that he's watched on video. Also be in the mix around a Stanley Cup playoff environment. So just doing a little bit of foundational building. When the news first arrived, the first thing I thought of was, okay, is somebody banged up? Is there somebody that's not going to be able to go? That's not the case. We're expecting the same 18 skaters to go tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights that have dressed in the first 3 games. But Connolly emergence with the Henderson Silver Knights, and what we saw with Braden Bowman up for a majority of the season with Vegas, and what he's done when he's gone back down, earned an opportunity to just dip their toe, even if they don't play, into just being around the Stanley Cup postseason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's an opportunity to just be around a team in the National Hockey League that's in, the same boat that the Henderson Silver Knights are in, right? Like, they're in the postseason. You get an opportunity to see how things are done at this level to a certain degree. You get to be around the guys. In Braden Bowman's case, like, he's been here quite a bit this season, so it probably felt somewhat comfortable, but a little bit different for him as well. So you get a nice little opportunity for Trevor Connolly to be around the big club as well. Like, I think it's a good thing, obviously, for the Golden Knights, for the Henderson Silver Knights as well, and for those 2 players individually.
Both Bowman and Connolly were part of the contingent that took part in an optional practice this morning. It was optional, but it was a heavy populated optional skate at Delta Center. 16 players took part in that morning skate, which shows you that they're ready to go, that they're hungry, and they want to get out there and go. Pavel Dorofeev was out there. Jack Eichel took that opportunity to go for a twirl. Braden McNabb, a veteran player, was on the ice this morning, along with Shea Theodore. So I like the veteran presence of being out there for an optional skate.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it matters to a certain degree, but I think it's also a product of the fact that you haven't played a game in 2 days, right? Like, it's tough. It's tough this time of year to have extra days off, to not be in the rhythm of playing every other day as you would expect to do in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So whatever individual players need to do to get themselves tuned up, ready to go, and involved as quickly and efficiently as possible in this game tonight, they got to do. And I'm not surprised that some of the leaders on this team were out there for an optional, getting themselves ready to go.
And let's be honest, Jack would skate anyway.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He just he's a bit of a rink rat out there. We did see some tweak of the lines at practice yesterday. I don't know whether they're going to follow that exact same script, blueprint for tonight. We'll keep an eye on the pregame warm-up when the players take to the ice over at Delta Center. But you saw Pavel Dorofeev skating with Ivan Barbashev and Jack Eichel on the number one line after Dorofeev was moved around a little bit in game number 3. Spent some time with Nick Dowd on the fourth line. Obviously has seen some time with Mitch Marner as well, but he was yesterday skating with Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev. Dorofeev hasn't spent a lot of time on the wing of Jack Eichel. They would love to get him going. He hasn't scored in his last 10 playoff games. We know he's streaky, so usually where you get 1, you get 5. So that's a big opportunity. He is getting touches. He has the most shots on goal of any Golden Knight in the series. Whether he scored or not, he is getting some opportunities. So maybe with the power play tweak, which should allow him to get a couple of extra opportunities in the one-timer over on that right side, and skating with Jack Eichel might be able to jumpstart him. And then the follow-up from that we'll get into in a second.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think for the Golden Knights, the objective going into this game is to get Dorofeev going. Because to your point, you just mentioned it, he can be and has been at times in his career a streaky goal scorer. If you can get that moving in the right direction and you get 5 or 4 or however many goals from Pavel Dorofeev the rest of the way in this series, it changes the complexion of the series. So he is, by all accounts, the most consistent goal scorer for the Golden Knights. He's got a tremendous shot, so you put him alongside a playmaker like Jack Eichel, a guy that can crash the net, and Ivan Barbashev, and I think that it has the potential to unlock Pavel Dorofeev to a certain degree.
Tomas Hertl actually leads the team in shot attempts in this series. He's directed 20 shots towards the net. It's hard to believe he hasn't got one to fall, and he's been so close on a couple of occasions. One heeled the stick and just went off the post. The other one he would have scored if not for Mikhail Sergachev accidentally knocking into his own net. So we've talked a couple of times about how he's close, and John Tortorella has admitted that he sees signs there. But there's the real data. 7 shots on net, but he's got 20 attempts in 3 games. It's hard to think that you can't break through with that kind of opportunity.
I mean, he's done everything but, right? Like, he's created offense, he's created opportunities, he's put the puck on net, he's been in really dangerous areas to score, and he's done everything in this series through 3 games but put the puck in the back of the net. And you just have to imagine that, again, like we talked about with Pavel Dorofeev, and I don't feel like Tomas is as streaky as Pavel has been in his career, but I think if you can get one to fall for Tomas Hertl, power play, 5-on-5, doesn't matter how or when it comes, but if you can get one to go, it should be something that benefits him, and he just settles in a little bit more.
He was skating with Brett Howden and Keegan Colasar at practice yesterday. Colasar, by the way, one of just 3 players with 20-plus hits so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he's played the fewest amount of hockey. So Howden and Colasar can get up the ice, maybe create some room, opportunities in the forecheck, and then it's Tomas Hertl backing it up, and Hertl does stay on that number 1 power play unit. And the other change in the forward units is Mitch Marner with Mark Stone and Riley Smith. So Marner and Stone reunited.
Yeah, and that's something we saw at the Olympics. We'd seen it at different times over the course of this season. I like Marner and Stone together. I think that they can play off one another really well, and I think Riley Smith's been incredibly consistent for the Golden Knights in this series. So I like the combination. I like that trio.
Riley Smith's been noticeable in this series and really got his game going in the right direction. We'll continue the conversation going into Game 4. The Vegas Golden Knights trying to tie up this best-of-7 series with the Utah Mammoth. We'll be back with Jeff Sharples next on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
You talked a lot about mindset and wanting the players to stay relaxed. How do you combine that with needing the urgency of time like this?
We're ready to play.
Now, back to the VGK Insider Show.
Okay, you get to that point with Torts where he said the same thing a couple of times, and no matter if you ask him 55 more questions in different ways, he's going to give you the same answer. He wants to get down to business and get into this thing and get to a more regular schedule, quite honestly. Daren Millard along with Ryan Wallace. This is the VGK Insider Show. Game 4 coming up tonight between the Mammoth and the Golden Knights. Utah leading the best-of-7 set 2-1 in this Western Conference first-round series as we welcome in our good friend Jeff Sharples, former National Hockey League defenseman. He'll be with me on the TV side tonight on Scripps Sports. And what do you think it's been like? The playoffs have been going for 9 days now, and the Golden Knights and Mammoth have played 3 games.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? I don't think they're in love with it, but I do like the fact that after, let's see, we're on Monday, so I guess it was Friday's game. There's a couple days on the road to kind of get together, sort this thing out a little bit more, and get ready. I mean, your only job up in Salt Lake City or Park City, wherever they were, is to get yourself prepared after Friday night's game was over for tonight. So I think it's good. Nothing but hockey, and get everybody in the right frame of mind when the puck drops tonight.
You played defense in the National Hockey League. You're an offensive guy. Just curious your take in moving away from the 5-forward set on the power play.
I think sometimes a change is as good as a rest, right? So we got a little change. Get Theo back involved tonight. See if we can, get him feeling really good about himself. He can dance the line as good as anybody. We saw Makar this weekend, how he can affect a game. We're seeing how Quinn Hughes can affect a game. And I think Shea has the same lateral ability and some playmaking ability that those two do have. And would sure like to see them get one tonight on the power play. And I think it's good. I think it shakes it up a little bit. Barbashev's on it, I believe, as well tonight. Very well deserved and earned.
Yeah, bring Ryan in here in a second, but just the left shot, right shot tweak of that player up top as opposed to Mitch Marner. Do you think that opens up a one-time opportunity for Pavel Dorofeev?
It certainly could. Shea's very capable of making all the plays. He's got all the tricks in the offensive bag. So I think it's a shot in the arm for him. I do. You hear the word stagnant. It was repeated a few different times towards the end of the year. Give Utah credit. They've been able to kind of, I don't know if the word suffocate, but at least take some wind out of the sails, although they did hit 2 posts the other night. Dorofeev on the power play, I believe. So, switch it up. Now you create another threat because Theodore is very mobile up at the top. Not that Mitch isn't, but Theodore's a lot more comfortable up there, even though Mitch has spent his career running the power play in Toronto and now in Vegas from there. I think as naturally as a defenseman, you probably feel a little bit more comfortable walking and up at the top making plays.
Jeff Sharples will be with us in Studio 31 tonight on the Scripps Sports broadcast, joining us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
All right, Jeff, outside of the special teams going into game number 4, where are you expecting Vegas to be better in game 4 than they have been through the first 3 games of the series?
Well, I think 5v5, even strength. I've loved, if you build your foundation and you go top down 1 through 4 lines, I think here we build bottom up. The 4th line as your foundation of the way that you want to play and have that kind of resonate through the rest of your lineup. I really think you got to play 5v5. I think you have depth. I think you have experience that you can really rely on. And the bottom, say, line or 4th line, and they've been terrific. I think I'm looking for even strength tonight to be a big jump. So that means as we move in through the top 9, I think you're gonna see some good energy through those guys and some really good opportunities.
How long did it take you to digest what happened in Game 3 and balance only giving up 12 shots versus losing the hockey game?
Yeah, that's life, right? Sometimes you just kind of get dealt a hand that you got to play the cards, and then the other night they did a lot of really good things. And I know we're used to seeing this kind of high wire act over the 9 years they've been in town. This year's been a lot different. Thought they defended for the most part really well the other night. I thought they had some chances. I mean, you go back to the first shift, Howden, he's able to elevate that puck, over to Velmelka's pad. We're off and running. So really, I love the way they were on top of the puck. Their backtracking was fabulous the other night. So, there's a lot of, the old saying, right? Offense wins games, defense wins championships. So if you're able to keep putting out those kind of numbers and limiting the grade A's, I think, which they did for the most part the other night, you got to like their chances of being able to claw their way back into the series.
Jeff, you touched on kind of how the new look in terms of the special teams power play might be able to get Shea Theodore going. When it comes to scoring from the D, like under Tortorella down the stretch in the regular season, it was tremendous. How do you think that they're able to bring that to this series 5-on-5?
Well, that's a good question, Ryan. Here's the thing. You've got Shea, who we all know what he can do. Anderson was kind of the alpha there in Calgary for years, and Hannafin's got some really good touch as well, right? So, you don't. There's only one puck. There's only so much you can do. But I really believe, and Anderson activates just about every time he's on the ice. I think the way to get Shadid more involved is, I'd like to see Shea and Noah. I'd like to see them step on the gas tonight when they get the puck. I'd like to see them be demonstrative, get those wheels going. They skate as well as any 2D in the league do. Get going, get that play started up the ice, and join. I think that's kind of how you kind of come at them, in a 5-man unit. But I think you can definitely create some heartache for Utah if your D's starting the rush and jumping in on it. Now you have to start accounting for extra people. We know how well the forwards can handle a puck with the VGK, all of them. Good hands, good vision, especially as you get into your top 6. Hurdle's your third-line center. He handles the puck as good as anybody. So I think actively using their feet to join the play, and I think Anderson is kind of – he's just wired that way. Like to see Shea and Noah do that a little bit more tonight. And then, Korzak skates really well too. The other two, and Lazon and McNabb, they're going to give you what they got every night. I love their game. They both join, but the really good skating D, like to see them that are known for their skating jump in tonight, get their feet moving early, get that puck going north, as Torts likes to say, and play direct.
I thought they did a better job of that in Game 3 than the second game back in Vegas.
Yeah, I think you kind of sometimes, Mallard, you can fall into a bit of a trap because our forwards in Vegas are, you want Jack to have the puck. You want Mitch Marner. You want Captain Stone to have it. You want Hurdle and, Howden, as he's flying up the wing. You want these guys to handle the puck. So I think sometimes you almost you're like, hey, how can I get it to them really quickly instead of going, hey, I got world-class feet here. I'm going to drive the bus on this one. And those guys are all smart players. They can read off you. So, as you know what, looking at it, Mallard, comparing it to the power plays, we're like, hey, you're getting a little stagnant. Like to see those guys, and you're right, they were better the other night. Like to see them take that next step forward and just drive, be demonstrative, drive the play with their feet. And you know what, everyone they'll play off of that, no problem. So, but I thought, as Tort said the other night, Game 3 was a step forward. We look for another step tonight.
Sounds like he's on his way over to Studio 31 at City National Arena. Jeff Sharples with us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
All right, Jeff. You look at Tomas Hurdle so far. Yep, through the first 3 games of the series, and he's done everything but score, right? Like, he's been in the middle of so many things that have gone right for the Golden Knights. When you're looking at Hertl, his impact, all of those things, like, it just is it a matter of time based on where he's finding himself, the chances that he's getting, the chances he's generating? Is it just a matter of time before Hertl breaks through?
Yeah, it's got to be, and Coach Cassidy used to say frustration's a useless emotion. There's got to be a little bit of strife there, where he's kind of feeling it. But Torts has been really good at hey, the kinder, gentler Torts is here, and I'm sure he's helping Hertl feel as good as he can about things. The concern would be if you weren't getting chances. But I like tonight. I believe he's with Howden and Kozar. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
That's the way they skated yesterday, yeah.
Okay, so the way they practiced yesterday, right? So those 2 guys are buddies, right? They train in the summer together. They push each other. Kozar's starting to become a lot more of a factor in the series, and him and O'Brien and some of the, the scrums. Howden's had a burr under his saddle for the last 15 to 20 games. I think that bodes well. I think that those 2 will really help bring Tomas along, and not that he needs to be brought along. He's a veteran center. He's got a lot of attributes like Kopitar, who just hung him up after 20 years does last night. But yeah, he's a big man. I think those 2 will play a direct game. They'll try and get it to him and just try and get that puck to the net. That's the big thing. I think he gets one that goes in off him, or he's able to bang home a rebound. But I think it's a nice combination there to put him with the 2 guys that are thick as thieves, and Howden and Kozar that are going to be going tonight.
It's amazing how many greasy goals are scored in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, we're gonna be spending about 3 hours together later, Mal, or maybe 4, but maybe longer. But I was just writing it down, getting ready for the show tonight. I was just thinking about, if you look at the goals from the Anaheim-Edmonton game last night and the Tampa-Montreal game, boy, the message, and Torts has said it, we'll be ready. I think part of we'll be ready is finding that interior ice and really kind of driving your stake in the ground and go, you know what? We're going to set up shop here, and we really like this property. We think we're going to camp out here for a while, and I think that's got to go throughout the lineup tonight. Find a way to the interior. Find a way to take Vejmelka's eyes away from him. He's been very good, and just make him work, as hard as you can to stop pucks. And like I said, Torts said it the other night. They took a step forward. I think there's another step or 2 to take, but that's all about that's the way it always is. You're always finding ways to try and get better. And tonight, I think the interior ice is where the Golden Knights have to kind of put their flag in the ground and go, hey, we're coming.
What concerns you about Utah?
What concerns me about them is they're a little bit like Colorado in the fact that they can turn things around really quickly, and as soon as you get puck watching against them, they're very good at going laterally. They're very good with misdirection. And if you look at their goals from the other night, they got 4. One of them was just one of those. There's been one of those kind of really weird goals in each of the first 3 games. The one that kind of goes off the mask in the pad, you just don't see that. But Gunther off a lateral pass from Cooley, and then Schmaltz, a lateral pass into the slot to Krause. That's what I think Vegas has done a better job as the series gone on against. That's what quick ups, and then they're looking to go lateral. You got to make sure you don't leave your assignment. Know what's behind you, and the way to do that is to kind of snuff them out, neutral ice. Don't let them get going on their transition game, so they can kind of set up offensively, because they haven't really grinded Vegas out in the offensive zone, but they sure once in a while they get you moving around, and boy, they can sure zip it side to side.
Former National Hockey League defenseman Jeff Sharples with us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
you guys have touched on it, just 12 shots on goal for the Utah Mammoth in game number 3. They scored 4 goals, yet I don't think it was a poor performance by any stretch from Carter Hart. What type of game are you expecting out of Carter tonight?
I think Carter's been great. I mean, you could sit there and, you could say maybe on Krause's goal he wanted it back, but Krause just had one of those nights the other night. He's been around a long time. He just found a way to have, he had a great game, beat Carter with a really good shot. The other ones, I'll give Carter credit for this. He's had an odd goal going on him in all 3 games. The one goes in off Korzak, the other one goes in off Anderson. That's game 1 and 2. Game 3, he has one hit him in the mask, and it comes down, hits his pad, and just absolutely slingshots into the back of the net. So I think Torts has talked on it. It's kind of a test of his mental fortitude, and Ryan, I think he found a way. I know there wasn't a lot going on the other night, and I'm sure he felt like he was fighting it there a little bit, but he found a way to kind of fight through it. And Torts knows he's ready. The thing is, can Vegas kind of do that to Vejmelka? Can they make it really uneasy for him? And we'll find out probably when the puck drops around 6:50 tonight.
It was loud in there the other night, and it only seats 12,000 people, but they had everything cranked up. But the atmosphere, the atmo, as Marty calls it, didn't dictate the game at all. Vegas handled that really well.
Well, I look at where they played. Over Dallas is not an easy place to play. They've had to deal with them. Edmonton is not an easy place to play. That's been raucous, over the course of their playoff. They've seen Edmonton a bunch. That's one of the louder buildings in the playoffs that you'll find. In Salt Lake, give them credit. And, this is a team that was playing in a building of 4,200 people a couple of years ago. There is going to be an adrenaline shot that they probably, any of the ones that have been in the organization for a while have never experienced. Vegas did a good job of being able to combat that. And I really like the we'll just worry about ourselves attitude. They spent the last 2 days. You have to know what they do well. You got to watch out for 92 and 11, Gunther and Cooley. You got to know where those guys are, but you also have to worry about what you're bringing first, and then you worry about, what else is going on. So I like that mindset, and they know it's going to be loud in there again tonight. You don't know how the game's going to go, but you can control how you get ready for it and what you're going to do positively to impact the result.
They've only led 10% of the time in the first 3 games. Do you have a gut feeling about tonight?
I like where, you never know. It's always a coin flip, but I like where they are tonight. I think they're going to have a good game. You go back the other night, you set a record for the least amount of shots in a game against, and what I liked the other night is they had some really good attention to detail for the most part, and we know a 60-minute or 90-minute or how many ever minute hockey game it's going to take, not every bit of it's perfect, but there was a lot of really good things the other night. If you play like that, the forwards were reloading and coming back over the top, making sure they stayed above the puck. The D were hopping. There's a lot of good stuff. And what gets lost in all this, too, is per game, Vegas is leading the league. At least it's only 3 games, but with hits. And so obviously, they're finishing their checks in overtime in a 7-game series. You expect something like that to take its toll. There's been some days off between games, but it speeds up starting tonight, and that could be a factor as well if they can stay physically engaged and make Utah really work for what they're going to get.
Are you bringing treats to Studio 31?
You know what? I'm in my dressing room right now, which is also called the City National parking lot. But I'll dig into the tickle trunk and I'll see what I got for you. I might have something for you. We'll see.
So you're just across the street right now?
Yeah, if you came up to the window, I could probably see you. This is so important. I didn't want to take a chance on a bad signal and dropping the call. So I don't get on as much as I used to. So I'm really trying to really lean into this tonight.
Your dedication is impressive and appreciated. Jeff Sharples with us on Fox Sports Las Vegas. The VGK Insider Show continues right after this.
Been saying you need to get to know guys, right? When you have an extended road trip like this, are you able to spend time with individuals and get to know them a little bit better?
No, you get to know them by coaching games, practices and stuff like that. We leave them alone when we're not in the building. But I've gotten to know them. I know them well enough right now. So most important thing is play the game.
You're listening to the VGK Insider Show.
Thanks to Jeff Sharples for joining us on the VGK Insider Show. If you missed any of that conversation, check out the podcast. I mentioned going into that discussion with Sharps how John Tortorella is ready to go. And he was repeating the same statement over and over. That was a great example. He wasn't even asked about the game. He was asked about getting to know his players. He took it to, we're ready to go. So they're chopping at the bit. With only one game in 5 days and only 3 games in the first 9 days of the playoffs, it's time to get some rhythm going to this series for both sides, for the fans, for everybody around this series. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they want to play the games. They want to get into the series.
We want to watch the games.
Like they're in. Yeah, they want to feel like they're in a series, and it's really hard to do that when you've got one game in 5 days. Like, it's not an easy thing. And I'm not just talking about it from the Golden Knights' perspective. It's the same thing for Utah. But I think both teams would have much rather had more rhythm through the first 4 or 5 games of the series as opposed to how it shakes out. But, again, now you've got rhythm the rest of the way. It's going to be every other day between now and the end of the series, whenever that is. It
does lessen the toll of the physical side of the game and everything that the Golden Knights have put into it. That is lessened because of all the time off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you should be a bit fresher going into game number 4, and that's saying something for a Golden Knights team.
You don't have that PSD feeling. Where you're worried about somebody hitting you because you just went through it the night before, 2 nights earlier.
I just, from a physicality standpoint, just your body has an extra couple of days to recover, which is not something that other series have had to this point. So, the reality is for the Golden Knights, physicality has been a big key for them in this series, and they should be able to utilize that to their advantage with an extra day off.
Best part is Sharples knows I'm on the radio because he was just on the radio with us. And he comes in and he starts chirping, just babbling, just talking away, just having a conversation. It's so funny. It's kind of strange, but I like it. I like the way he just assumes everybody's ready for a conversation.
Well, I mean,
can you hear him?
We just had a conversation with him.
I know, but now he's not he's not in the air. Nobody can hear him, but he's still talking to me.
Yeah, you like to keep Jeff away, and I don't know why. Like, we all love Jeff. We can always be a part of the conversation.
Well, we're going to spend 4 hours or more tonight. I haven't had an overtime game in this series.
You guys are really putting that out there.
Yeah.
Overtime.
We'll see.
Boy, oh boy.
We got some boxing tickets to give away.
Yeah, if you want to go see Benavidez versus Zurdo at T-Mobile Arena on May 2nd, be caller number 7, 702-876-1340. Caller number 7, you're a winner.
Did we have a winner in the Paul Padala Hockey Parlay contest on Friday? Denise was the contestant?
Yeah, we did not.
So we go $1,500 next week?
Sure do.
This Friday?
Yeah, but, we'll have to keep an eye on how many games there are over the weekend.
Well, we should have 3 games, right?
Well, hopefully we'll have 3.
Yeah. $1,500 just by listening.
Big payday. Yeah, I know.
You got to throw in a couple of odd good picks, but basically, you listen to the show, you got an opportunity to win $1,500 on Friday. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. One-timers, news notes from around the National Hockey League. On the other side, as we continue on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Live from the Treasure Island and City National Arena, this is the VGK Insiders Show.
Rims it behind for Stone. Stone toward the middle. Barbashev rebound, score! Jack Eichel.
With Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
The other Smith, that's Riley. Couldn't now. Dowd scores! Riley Smith to Nick Dowd.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Carlson left corner. Centered. One-timer score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury. It's about the recovery.
A little bit more on the Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth getting set for Game 4 tonight. The Mammoth leading the series 2-1. Vegas can earn a split on the 2 games in Salt Lake City and bring it back to Vegas, all tied up at 2, and thus turn it into a best-of-3. We'll get into that in more detail over the next half hour before we get over to the pregame show with Ryan Wallace here on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Daren Millard, Ryan Wallace, Jared Justice with you. We've got some tickets to see some stand-up comedy coming up in just a little bit as well. And we're going to dive into last night's action in the Stanley Cup playoffs. A couple of teams booked their ticket to the second round, scanned their ticket to the second round, and also some controversy involving the Edmonton Oilers and the Anaheim Ducks. But out of the gate, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth playing Game 4. Where are you on what has to happen for a Vegas win? Do you have a particular area?
Well, I think we touched on it with Sharples, right? Like, I think the Golden Knights need to find a way to get to the middle of the ice, and they need to score. I think they've been pretty good defensively, as buttoned up as you can be. Utah's been opportunistic on the chances that they've had, but more than anything, I think there's a couple of things for me on the wish list. One, score first, play with a lead, especially if you can do it early in the game. Take the crowd out of it, take a little bit of the atmosphere out of the building, and then from there, I think you're looking at putting 3 goals on the board, right? Like, you've got to get to Karel Vejmelka, you got to make life a little bit more difficult on him. So that's what I'd like to see from the Golden Knights in this game.
Just 2 games on the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoff slate tonight. The Vegas Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth will start closer to 6:30, and the other game is already underway. And that's the Battle of Pennsylvania. The Philadelphia Flyers with another opportunity, second straight opportunity, to eliminate the Pittsburgh Penguins. 3-1 is the series advantage for the Flyers, but the Penguins have scored first. Elmer Soderblom putting the puck in the back of the net, and the Penguins lead it 1-0 after 1 period.
Yeah, good on the Penguins, obviously, for staving off elimination. They were able to do that over the weekend. Now, with coinciding with a goaltender change, it seems like they've got some confidence, and they've got an early lead that they're taking to the first intermission. So for the Penguins, it's been a nice little bounce back. There's been a little bit of belief in terms of extending the series. I still think that Philly's going to figure it out and find a way to close this series out. But for the Penguins, they have certainly found another gear in their overall game, and they're really testing Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's up 3-1. They won the first 3 games of the series, but all the noise is around the Flyers. All the chatter. They scratched Matvei Michkov tonight for game number 5.
Yeah, listen, I understand that you need an attention to detail to a very high degree in order to win in the postseason. Defensively, you got to be buttoned up and dialed in. But Michkov does some amazing things offensively. And, if the Flyers struggle to score, that might be something you look at and say, okay, can you find a way to get Michkov in the lineup in a way that makes sense for Rick Tocchet? Listen, again, I still think Philly's going to win the series. I know that Pittsburgh has looked better, but you're right. Like, the noise right now is certainly around the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Penguins are playing with house money at this point.
It's similar to Colorado. They swept the LA Kings, yet all the chatter was about how Colorado wasn't playing up to their potential for the first 3 games.
Yeah, listen, I'm a big proponent of, do what you got to do to get through the series. And for Colorado, like, LA committed to defending hard. It was not easy. It was not a speed track out there for the Colorado Avalanche, and that was by design for LA because they figured the only way we're going to be able to even give this a shot is if Colorado's scoring 2 or less. And, the Avalanche, they didn't find their offensive game through the first couple of games, but, they finished the series off with an exclamation point. In a game that LA should have been absolutely juiced up, ready to play, the Colorado Avalanche found their offense. They scored a bunch of goals, and, they finished off a series in 4 games. They were perfect in the first round. I don't think they deserve as much criticism as they're getting.
I'm disappointed that Carolina and Ottawa ended in the minimum because I could have watched those 2 teams play for 12 games.
Yeah, it was I enjoyed that series a lot. It was. There was not a lot of love lost between the two sides. They hated each other by the end of it, right? And they probably hated each other 15 minutes into game number 1. I expected more out of Ottawa. They got the goaltending they needed. They just could not find a break offensively. And, for Carolina, there's a reason that they win series, right? There's a reason that they get out of the first round year over year over year. They just find ways. Logan Stankoven was fantastic. And, Ottawa just never really got their offensive game going.
Taylor Hall was brilliant.
Very good. Yes, very good. That line for them was tremendous. It doesn't change my perception of Carolina, though, because I still think at some point
it helps them. They're a team that plays so fast and hard every night. Being able to give themselves a little bit of rest is huge in their opportunities to go deeper, just saving a little wear and tear. Boston Bruins have lost 3 straight in their series against Buffalo. And while things were closer in games 2 and 3, game 4 was lopsided, and it had everything to do with the Bruins, to be quite honest. They were terrible with taking care of the puck yesterday, as bad as I've seen in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, it wasn't close. It was a massive win for the Buffalo Sabres. It was a Boston Bruins team that was just out of sorts. They didn't look themselves. Jeremy Swayman was furious with his group.
Good on him,
not
too.
a lot to like. Yeah, no, I know. He's the guy that's giving up the goals. He's the one getting hung out to dry. And I love the fire from Jeremy Swayman. Hopefully, it kind of wakes something up in his team moving forward. But I was not expecting the Boston Bruins to lay an egg like that.
Tampa Bay back to playing hockey, and they managed to find a way to win and knot that series up against Montreal.
Yeah, kind of a fierce game too, right? There was some physicality, a massive hit in the neutral zone on Juraj Slafkovsky. Montreal was in complete control up 2-0, and then the Tampa Bay Lightning do what they do. They find a way to creep themselves back into the game, and then they win it. It was in my view, it's a wasted opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens to have a 2-0 lead in that game. You got to find a way to get it to the finish line, especially against a team like Tampa Bay.
Boy, over the years, Tampa Bay's done a great job just hanging around series, pushing it a little bit further along until they can strike, and kind of feels that way right now. The shots were only 20-18 in that game yesterday. They're 2-2 going back to Tampa Bay. The other interesting game from the weekend involved the Edmonton Oilers falling to the Anaheim Ducks, and there's another game in which a team had a 2-0 lead and weren't able to get it across the finish line as Anaheim wins it in overtime. The controversial goal occurring just 3 minutes into the extra session. Ryan Poehling gets credit for it as it bounced off Darnell Nurse's skate and in, and just crossed the line, although you don't see the actual puck all the way across the line due to Tristan Jarry's skate being in the way. Logic says it was in. Did you agree with the Situation Room's ruling?
So, I think it's a goal. I think the puck completely crosses the goal line. We don't actually see that happen, but I do believe that is the case. I do believe that it was a goal. I don't have an issue with the Situation Room and their ruling. I guess the bigger question for me is, it was ruled a goal on the ice. How did the officials see that puck was in, that it crossed the goal line completely to rule it a good goal on the ice before it went to that review process? That's the part for me, because if the official in that instance doesn't rule a goal, I don't know that game ends on that play.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered whether he called it a goal or not on the ice, because again, the logic side of it tells me that puck did cross the line. I know what you're saying about the official who was not standing on the back of the net at the time that puck did cross the line. He was there in a little bit, but at that time, Edmonton had been able to remove the puck from any type of debatable positioning on the ice.
Sure.
In the end, I believe they got it right.
Me too.
Night. And it really does put the two-time Stanley Cup finalists into a big bind. They've played one card in changing goaltenders between Connor Ingram over to Tristan Jarry, and Jarry was great yesterday, although I didn't like the first goal and didn't like the last goal. Cutter Gautier's shot was great, but there's only one place he can put that puck because he's blocked out on a screen on the other side. But that's just a goaltender looking at it on that side of it. I don't know where Edmonton goes from here other than saying to their big boys, you got to go out and you got to make sure that we stay alive one game at a time and be able to extend this thing and give ourselves a shot. Anaheim's done a brilliant job. They shrugged off a terrible final 2 weeks of the season to have a 3-1 series lead on Edmonton.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've been pretty consistent about how I felt this was Edmonton's series to lose. I did not give the Anaheim Ducks a lot of opportunity in this series just because of how poorly they played down the stretch and the pedigree of the Edmonton Oilers. The fact that you've got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you can throw them over the boards. I know Anaheim can score, but I had questions about whether or not they could defend at a high enough level. Through 4 games, I mean, you can make the argument that they played well enough to win game number 1. Like, this could be a series that's already over. So I think you're right. On the Edmonton side of things, you got to look at Connor McDavid, you got to look at Leon Draisaitl, you got to look at Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and say to those players specifically, go out and win us a game. And then we'll worry about the next game. But you guys need to be the drivers. You guys need to win the game, and that's really what it's going to be. Whether it's 7-6 or 9-6 or whatever the case may be, those players have to score more goals than the entirety of the Anaheim Ducks.
Unless it's really obvious, I don't like going down a path of player A must be hurt. Player A not producing well enough, so there's got to be something wrong. But given how wide open and how much space there is in this series, for Connor McDavid not to be dominating screams at me that there's something holding him back.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? Because I think McDavid had at least 2, maybe 3 opportunities where he was able to get that burst of speed. He was able to get around a defender, but wasn't able to beat Lukas Dostal. So, maybe it's coming around for Connor a little bit more, but you're right. Like, he has not been the dominant force we know he can be, especially in a series where both teams are looking to get their chances offensively.
Well, and then he got beat while killing a penalty, jumped, and they went give and go for the Anaheim Ducks on the power play. We'll see what happens. It is an opportunity for Anaheim going into Game 5 back in Edmonton tomorrow to just put some real doubt into Edmonton. This is a team that's played so much hockey over the last 3 years. Both internationally with the Olympics and the Four Nations face-off, and going to at least the second round and all 3 years and back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. You push them. Like, tomorrow night's start can have a massive impact on the psyche of Edmonton. As far as Anaheim's concerned, This is where the experience comes into play. They've never been in this situation to have a team on the ropes like this, and if you get loose at all, it can get away from you fast. It's only 3-1.
Yeah. Well, that's the tough part, right? Like, the Edmonton Oilers have been able to score no problem in this series. So, like, I think coming back from 3-1 down is a lot easier when you can put the puck in the back of the net, when you can go off offensively. So, I mean, for Anaheim, like, it's a new experience, but they're going to have to find a way to try to break the will of the Edmonton Oilers. And, you know, for Edmonton, again, it's one game at a time. They were down in the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago, 3-0, and they forced that to Game 7. Like, there's proof of concept with this group that they can go out and win 3 games in a row. They're going to have to do it against Anaheim here.
Edmonton, one of 3 teams that has changed goaltenders due to performance in the first round.
Yeah.
Edmonton,
you going
Buffalo, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. You going? Is it Tristan Jarry the rest of the way for you?
Unless Calvin Pickard's around.
Would you go to Pickard for game?
No, he hasn't played.
No,
okay.
He
hasn't played.
So it's Tristan Jarry.
It's Tristan Jarry or bust.
Yeah.
You can't be. And Jarry wasn't terrible yesterday.
No,
he actually made some saves. He could have won them the game, to be quite honest, and he didn't. But he didn't lose the game either. You played that card, and he was okay. So I don't think you move it around. But the switch has worked for Buffalo. They've been able to be really good since they made the change, and Pittsburgh has. It's 2-1 now in that game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've benefited from some jump in making a goaltending change.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I was adamant that Stuart Skinner wasn't exactly the issue for the Penguins. It was more about the fact that they just looked incredibly meager offensively. But, you know, whatever you got to do to change the momentum in a series. It wasn't working out for them through the first 3 games. You get a change of goaltender. You get Artur Shilov's in there. He's been solid for them, really good in game number 4, and now you got a little bit of belief and feeling. So good on him.
It's different if your goaltender's playing great, like what happened in Ottawa. Goaltender was great, so you weren't going to move away from that, and they didn't really have a secondary option either. But even if you did, you weren't going off of that. But if you do have a secondary option and your goaltending has just been okay, you're not losing the game. They're not losing the game for you, but they're not winning the game either. I don't have an issue at all with making a change in that.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, listen, I think in the case of in the case of Pittsburgh, it made sense. But to your point about Ottawa, Linus Ullmark did everything he could and was tremendous. It's just his team could not score at all. So, listen, it's an age in the National Hockey League where if you've got 2 goaltenders, if you've got 2 legitimate options at your disposal, if you think you can get a little bit of extra juice or an uptick in play or whatever the case may be, go ahead and make the change. Good teams do it. Like Buffalo did it, and they're on the verge of getting to the second round. So, good for them.
I got a chance to hang out with Nate Bargatze last week, and now we're giving away tickets to see Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah, if you want to win a pair of tickets to celebrate Sebastian Maniscalco's 100th show at the Wynn, you need to be caller. I'm not going to do caller number 100. That would really suck for Jared. We'll do caller number 10, 702-876-1340, caller number 10. The date is to be determined, but it looks like it's either going to be May 23rd or May 24th. Sebastian Maniscalco's 100th show at the Wynn. Caller number 10, 702-876-1340. You're a winner.
Sebastian Maniscalco. He is a funny dude, and I think he should have done 100 callers. I think he missed out on an opportunity there. How long would it take Jared to do? Thanks for calling. Your caller number 32, 33, 34 to get to 100.
I mean,
like
Chapman
minutes?
used to be able to. No, probably.
Well, Chapman was rude though.
Jared
just
is nicer.
rinse the
That's
callers.
true. Oh, he would just say the number.
Yeah,
One,
he was
2,
awful.
3, 4.
Yeah.
He was not very nice. Yeah, I think it'd probably take Jared the better part of a break, like 5 minutes for sure.
Ian Bagg is one of my favorite guys. We got to get next time he's in town. We got to give away tickets to see Ian, who's been on the show before, on the VGK Insider Show. Sebastian hasn't. Nate hasn't. Ian has.
Right. Yeah.
Remember the night that he was so mean to Sharples?
Was that when he was on the show, or was that a story?
No.
Oh, okay.
When he was on the show.
He wasn't.
He wouldn't let
mean
Jeff
to
talk.
Sharples.
Like,
Yeah,
if it's a
I mean,
hockey
that
show
was-
and Sharples was on, and Ian Bagg, funny human being, would not let
Sure.
Sharples talk.
Well, that's what happens when you're like in a room with really funny people.
Mhm.
They're just so funny that you don't want anyone else to talk.
I think that would be terrible to be a stand-up comedian, like a good one.
Just
because everybody looks at
like
you and
to
goes,
just be naturally funny all the time.
people just go, be funny. Can you come and can you speak at my model airplane dinner, my model airplane club, and be funny? Just do that. I think that'd be hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be pretty hard to be funny at a model airplane dinner. What?
You never had model airplane?
That's
clubs?
No. I know what a model airplane is. I understand
like
that
your model airplane
clubs,
club.
but, like,
You've got a dinner.
I
your
can't
year-end
imagine
party
getting
for your
together
model-
for a banquet over model airplanes.
or
It's
your
weird.
miniature train thing, model train. I love those things. I always wanted a model train set, like with all the little like the water towers and
why
the
don't you have
landscape and the bridges. I gotta in my retirement when I retire in like 23 years now. That's how many years I've got left. When I retire in 23 years, I'm gonna create the most kick-ass model train set.
Why don't you just do it now?
I'm too busy. I've got this. I've got
Really?
100% hockey. I've got TV. I've got in-goal
What about the
radio,
summer?
the podcast. I don't have any. I gotta save some time to maintain this absolute beautiful body through fitness.
Yeah, how long does that take you? Like in a week?
Oh, I got what did I get this week? I got 3.5 hours in the saddle on the bike, and I had 5 hours on the ice. So you didn't think that was coming, did you? I burn it at both ends, man.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's a temple, this thing.
Potential athlete Daren Millard.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a temple. I'm not sure what Sharples, how he classifies his body, but this thing's beautiful.
He was
Sharples
he
is
was a
more
real
like
athlete,
a
right?
pyramid. It's big. It's wide at the bottom and gets narrower at the top. Vegas, Utah, Game 4. Golden Knights trying to even the series up at 2. Pre-game shows coming up next on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Stick around and enjoy Ryan Wallace.